like fast, you know? Yeah, yeah.
Adrian N. Breitfelder, City Clerk, you are hereby directed to call a regular session of the City Council to be held on Monday, March 16th, 2026, at 6:30 p.m. in the historic Federal Building for the purpose of conducting such business that may properly come before the City Council.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to a regular session of the Dubuque City Council for March 16th, 2026. As a reminder to our participants, you can provide in-person input or virtual audio and written input during the sections of the agenda where public input is accepted. Input options during the live meeting include in-person attendees may approach the podium when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any public input on the item they would like to speak to. Remote attendees can log into GoToMeeting using the login links, phone numbers, and access code that appear on the broadcast and live stream and posted on the front page of the meeting agenda. This option includes audio input and written chat input. If you are participating via computer, indicate which item you would like to speak to in the chat function or note that you would like to speak during the appropriate section. If you are participating via phone, indicate which item you would like to speak to during the appropriate section. All comments, whether in person or virtual, must be accompanied by a name and address. Additionally, written public input is accepted by contacting the City Council directly from the city's webpage at www.cityofdubuque.org/council-contacts and through the City Clerk's office email at ctyclerk@cityofdubuque.org. This information will be reiterated during the meeting. Attendance for the session is as follows. Mayor Pro Tem Resnick.
Here.
Mayor Kavanaugh.
Here.
Thank you. Council members Leyendecker.
Here.
Roussel. Here. Sprank.
Here.
Staver.
Here.
Wethel.
Here.
City Manager Van Milligan.
Here.
And City Attorney Brumwell.
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Resnick, I will turn it over to you for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, thank you. I invite all who are able to please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will quickly note we do have an update to tonight's agenda. Item number 17 is removed from the agenda. And with that, we'll move on to proclamations. Our proclamation this evening is Honeybee Day.
Honeybee Day, and we have H.R. Cook and Ava Melberg here to accept this proclamation. So you are absolutely invited to tell us a little bit about this proclamation and what you're doing here in Dubuque.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. I have with me my granddaughter, Ava Melbourne. She is proxy this evening for our Dubuque Swiss Valley Bee Club. Due to the weather, they couldn't make it tonight. Swiss Valley Bee Club has about 75 members, and I think this is our fourth year of doing the proclamation for Honeybee Day in the state of Iowa, which is March 25th next week. We'll be at the state capitol talking about honeybees, pollination, agriculture related to honeybees with our legislatures and anybody else who would join us. Really kind of the fun facts right now, because we're not really thinking about pollination on a day like today. The bees are currently gathered up and they swarm and around the queen inside the hive, and then they disengage their wings, the worker bees do, and they vibrate their wings or those muscles to create heat inside the hive. So right now, if you're going outside and it's 23 degrees, it's about 90 degrees inside a hive or inside the trees where the honeybees are. So honeybees they don't fly at night because that's where the bad things are. And there is only one queen in a hive. The rest of the workers take care of the queen, and there's only about 500 drones, and the rest of them are all females. The drones are the male bees. So at the end of the season, after the mating season with the queen is over, the female bees throw the male bees out because they're lazy and they're getting ready to eat all the resources for the winter. And then it's just the females and the queen for the rest of the winter. So Ava Melbourne, she lives with us. She has her own hive. You want to tell us a little bit about the hive?
So, there's 10,000 bees and one queen, like he said, right? Mm-hmm. And it's good, right?
Right.
And it's making good honey, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay, so yeah.
So, but thank you very much for having us this evening in this proclamation. It does mean a lot. City of Dubuque was one of the first cities to allow urban beekeeping inside the city limits, and currently there are about 50 hives inside the city, including one at the airport. We have a hive out there. We are putting a couple down at the Grand River Center to help out with the honey production down there. And then we have, we're doing a pollination program down at the River Museum also. So I see they're down here, so we're starting that. So it's expanding, and we appreciate everybody here. If anybody's interested in raising bees and having hives inside the city, you can get a hold of us on Facebook for the Dubuque Swiss Valley Bee Club. So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you and Ava for coming down. The proclamation is, whereas honeybees and native insects are important as pollinators for a third of the food we eat, honeybees are vital in production of over 90 crops grown across the nation, many of which are in Northeast Iowa. Honeybees contribute significantly to the biodiversity and food security of our community by assuring the availability of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and flowers for wildlife, providing an estimated $95 million economic value to Iowa crops from their pollination. And whereas Iowa beekeepers produce 2.6 million pounds of honey a year, while Iowans consume over 4 million pounds of honey, resulting in importing honey from other states and foreign countries. And whereas the City of Dubuque promotes programs such as No Mow May, pesticide and herbicide reduction in city parks, construction of pocket floral parks in urban areas, encouragement of ornamental flowers in right-of-ways, medians, and roundabouts, and the ever-growing Dubuque Farmer Market, giving an avenue for local beekeepers to sell local honey to consumers who enjoy the many health benefits of locally sourced honey. And whereas honeybees face serious threats from invasive pests and disease, decreasing bee-friendly habitat, human inattention, variable climate and pesticide and herbicide pressure. And whereas the city of Dubuque was one of the first larger cities in Iowa to allow urban beekeeping and encourages and promotes many types of urban pollination programs with grants, classes, and clubs, it is now estimated there are over 60 urban beehives in the city of Dubuque, some of which are on City of Dubuque property, whose bees are pollinating many types of trees, plants, flowers, and other blooming flora throughout the spring, summer, and fall. Now, therefore, I, David Resnick, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Dubuque, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council staff and residents of Dubuque, do hereby proclaim the 25th of March, 2026 as Honeybee Day. So, if you could come up. There, you got a picture? Oh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Breitfelder.
We'll move on to consent items. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting in person who would like to discuss one of the consent items, please approach the podium when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any in-person input and state your name and address. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function or state your name and address over the phone when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any virtual input. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Please state the item you would like removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and consideration. Consent items can be found on pages 2 through 6 of the agenda, and just a reminder that consent item number 17 has been removed from the agenda.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone in the chambers who would like to pull any of the consent items for separate discussion? Seeing no one, are there anything in the virtually? How about any written input?
No input.
All right, thank you. Would any council members like to pull any items for discussion? All right, very good. Then I'm open to a motion.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Mayor Kavanaugh.
I move to receive and file, adopt the resolutions, and deal with the consent items as recommended.
Second.
All right, motion by Kavanaugh.
Friendly amendment, can we say except for number 17?
Except for number 17. Thank you very much, Grenna.
Would you, do you still want to second that?
Second that.
Very good. Any comment? Any questions? All right. So we do have a motion and a second to, let's see, to accept, to receive and file. And so Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver,
Aye.
Wethel,
Aye.
Sprank,
Aye.
Leyendecker,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Very good. That passes 7-0.
We'll move on to items set for public hearing. We have 3. First is setting public hearing for a proposed First Amendment to Development Agreement between the City of Dubuque, Iowa and Groening Development Incorporated for March 23rd, 2026. Second is resolution of necessity for the amendment of the Dubuque Industrial Center Economic Development District Urban Renewal Plan version 2026.1 for April 20th, 2026. And third is setting a public hearing, petition to vacate and dispose of portions of the West 7th Street and Bluff Street right-of-way and of the alley right-of-way in the block bounded by Locust Street, West 8th Street, Bluff Street, and West 7th Street in the City of Dubuque, Iowa, for vacating petition agreement between City of Dubuque and Dubuque Museum of Art for April 20th, 2026.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Russell.
I move to receive and file, adopt the resolutions, and set the public hearings for the dates specified.
Second by Wethel.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion by Roussel and a second by Wethel. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver,
Aye.
Wethel,
Aye.
Sprank,
Aye.
Leyendecker,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That's 7-0. Thank you very much.
We'll move on to boards and commissions. We have city council vote on the mayor's appointment to the Civil Service Commission, as well as appointments to the Housing Commission, Long Range Planning Advisory Commission, and Zoning Board of Adjustment.
So thank you very much. The first one is the Civil Service Commission, and for the Civil Service Commission, we have one 4-year term through April 6, 2030, and Iowa Code requires the mayor select the applicant for appointment, which is voted on by the city council. So Mayor Kavanaugh previously selected Randall Ludovitz for appointment, so I will take a motion to approve the mayor's selection of Randall Ludovitz to the term.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Wessel.
I move to appoint Mr. Randall Ludovitz at 867 Barber Lee Drive to the Civil Service Commission.
Thank you.
Can I amend that just ever so slightly?
Sure.
To have it, instead of the appoint, to approve the mayor's appointment?
Oh, to approve the mayor's appointment of Mr. Ludovitz.
Second by Sprank.
All right, thank you very much. So we have a motion by Wethel, second by Sprank. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver,
Aye.
Wethel,
Aye.
Sprank,
Aye.
Leyendecker,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That's 7-0. It is approved. Number 2, the Housing Commission. For the Housing Commission, we have one 3-year term through August 17th, 2028, and one applicant, Wyatt Pierce. I will entertain a motion on this applicant, please.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Mr. Sprank.
I motion that we approve and nominate Wyatt Pierce to the 3-year term.
Second by Leyendecker.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion by Sprank, second by Leyendecker to approve. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver,
Aye.
Wethel,
Aye.
Sprank,
Aye.
Leyendecker,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Thank you. That's 7-0. Approved. Number 3, Long Range Planning Advisory Commission. We have one 3-year term through July 1st, 2028, and one applicant, Parker Scott. So I will entertain a motion on this applicant.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Roussel.
I move to nominate Parker Scott for the Long Range Planning Advisory Commission, term through July 1st, 2028.
Thank you.
Second by Wethel.
All right. We have a motion by Roussel and a second by Wethel. Ms. Breitfelder, please.
Staver,
Aye.
Wethel,
Aye.
Sprank,
Aye.
Leindecker,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That's 7-0 and approved. All right, and finally, we have the Zoning Board of Adjustment. We have one 5-year term through March 25th, 2031, and one applicant, Ben Luffelholz.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Ms. Wethel.
I move to reappoint Ben Leffelholtz to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for one 5-year term through March 25th, 2031.
Second by Sprank.
Okay, so we have a motion by Wethel, second by Sprank. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver,
Aye.
Wethel,
Aye.
Sprank,
Aye.
Leindecker,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That's 7-0. Approved.
We'll move on to public hearings. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting in person who would like to discuss one of the public hearing items, please approach the podium when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there's any in-person input for the public hearing you would like to speak to, and state your name and address. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function and state your question, or state your name and address over the phone when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any virtual input for the public hearing you would like to speak to. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Public hearing number 1 is disposal of city-owned property north of Cedar Crest Court in Dubuque, Iowa.
All right, very good. And I'll take a motion to start this.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Mayor Kavanaugh.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Wethel.
All right. We are in a public hearing to consider approving the disposal of city-owned property lying north of Cedar Crest Court. Is there anyone in the chambers to address us on this item? Seeing no one, is there anyone virtually or any written input?
Nope.
All right, very good. Then I'll come back to council discussion if we have any.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Mayor Kavanaugh.
I might suggest we have Mike read his memo before we discuss.
All right, thank you for that suggestion. Mr. Van Milligan.
Oh, thank you. Well, happens to be a very brief one. City Engineer Gus Zahoyas is recommending City Council approval of a resolution for the disposal of city-owned property lying north of Cedar Cross Court in Dubuque be conveyed to Jeremy L. and Andrea A. Biederman via the quitclaim deed. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
So thank you. Now we know what this is about. I should have asked you earlier. Do we have any comment about this or questions? All right, no comments or questions. So we have a motion by Kavanaugh and a second by Wethel. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver,
Aye.
Wethel,
Aye.
Sprank,
Aye.
Leindecker,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That's approved, 7-0.
Public hearing number 2 is 2026 Public Works Overlay Program Sidewalk Curb Ramp Project, Bid Package 3, public hearing.
Very good.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Mr. Sell.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Wethel.
All right, thank you very much. I have a motion and a second. And Mr. Van Milligan.
Thank you. Assistant City Engineer Bob Schissel is recommending City Council approve the plans, specifications, formal contract, and estimated cost of $298,000 for the 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program Sidewalk Curb Ramp Project Bid Package 3 through adoption of the attached resolution. The 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program will provide for the replacement of 45 access curb ramps, adjacent street pavement work, curb and gutter replacement, sidewalks, 1 storm sewer intake, and landscape restoration work. This project is in coordination with the Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program at the following locations: 28th Street from Jackson Street to Washington Street for 6 ramps, 29th Street from Jackson Street to Washington Street for 8 ramps, 30th Street and Jackson Street, 3 ramps, Diagonal Street and Trout Terrace for 2 ramps, Broadway Street from 24th Street to 28th Street for 12 ramps, Fulton Street and Monroe Street for 3 ramps, Argyle Street from Ghost Street to Groveland Place for 5 ramps, and Windsor Avenue from Ghost Street to Euclid Street for 6 ramps. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you. We are in a public hearing to consider City Council approval of plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost of $298,000 for the 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program Sidewalk Curb Project Ramp Bid Package 3 through adoption of the attached resolution. Do we have anyone in the chambers to address us on this item? Anyone virtually?
No.
All right, is there any written?
Nope.
All right, very good. Do we have any questions from council members? All right, we will, since we don't have any, well, let's move on. We have a motion by Roussel, second by Wethel. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Sprank.
Aye.
Liondecker.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That's 7-0 approval.
Public hearing number 3 is public hearing and approval of third amendment to the lease agreement by and between the City of Dubuque, Iowa and the Dubuque County Historical Society.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Wethel.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Liondecker.
Thank you very much. So we are in a public hearing to consider City Council adopt the attached resolution approving a third amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Dubuque, Iowa and the Dubuque County Historical Society. And the city manager recommends approval. So is there anyone in the chambers to address us on this item? All right, anyone virtually? And of course, Mr. Kavanaugh, Mayor Kavanaugh, I'm going to ask Michael Van Milligan to give us a note on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Director Matt Kalsevich is recommending City Council adopt the attached resolution approving a third amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Dubuque and the Dubuque County Historical Society. The city provided a letter of authorization on behalf of the City of Dubuque in support of the Dubuque County Historical Society's application to the Iowa Economic Development Authority and the Iowa Finance Authority State Historic Preservation Tax Credit Program for preservation and restoration work on the Matthias Ham House. Recently, the state provided additional information in relation to the Iowa Economic Development and Finance Authority State Historic Preservation Tax Credit Program, advising that the lease needs to be 39 years. The current lease agreement was a term ending on May 31st, 2054. This does not meet the 39-year requirement. The third amendment would extend the term to May 31st, 2066. This will meet the requirements of the state and provide an additional 2 years in case the process of approval in the second step of the application for tax credits takes more than a year. The Parks and Recreation Commission reviewed the third amendment and unanimously approved the recommendation at their February 10th, 2026 meeting. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you very much. Do we have any council discussion? Very good. We have a motion by Wethel, second by Liondecker. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Sprank.
Aye.
Liondecker.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That's 7-0 approval.
We'll move on to public input. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting may address the City Council on the action items on the agenda or on matters under the control of the City Council. For all in-person attendees, please approach the podium and state your name and address when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any in-person input. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function or state your name and address over the phone when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any virtual input. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Individual remarks are limited to 5 minutes, and the overall public input period is limited to 30 minutes. Under the Iowa Open Meetings Law, the City Council can take no formal action on comments given during public input or that do not relate to the action items on the agenda.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone in the chambers who has public input for us today? Thank you very much. And if you could just give your name and address? Thank you.
Mayor Kavanaugh, Mayor Pro Temp, Resnick. My name's Nick Fish. And City Council, my name's Nick Fish. I'm on 2040 Bunker Hill Road. I'm representing NICC here tonight as a trustee. I just was excited to see that sale of the right-of-way from the city to NICC to support the $1.4 million renovation of the Dubuque Center. I think it's really going to be a good investment for the community at large. Dubuque Community School students can take the concurrent enrollment classes there where they can earn both high school and college credits. They can take anatomy and physiology. I know it's something that employers really requested that NICC expand on, and I'm happy to see this going forward. This renovation also helps further NICC's mission and vision to empower learners and strengthens the Dubuque area by continuing to provide accessible, high-quality, innovative education and training, and also forward-thinking and shaping and delivering education workforce solutions of which that the employers are asking for themselves. I think it's going to be a great thing along with the continuing revitalization of Main Street. So thank you for your support of NICC, and I'm very excited to see that project go forward. So thank you.
Well, thank you for coming tonight, and we appreciate the partnership with NICC very much. Is there anyone virtually or any written input
No
for
written
that?
input.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's move on then.
We'll move on to action items. Action item number 1 is request to rezone Rustic Point number 2, third reading.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Russell.
I move to
So-
receive and file, and further move that the final consideration and passage of the ordinance.
Second by Sprague.
All right. Thank you very much. So there's no memo from Mike, so I don't have to ask for it, and Wally. So they're here in case we have some questions from the council, from the table. So is there any questions or discussion from council members? Seeing none, we have a motion by Russell, second by Sprague. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver,
Nay.
Wethel,
Aye.
Sprank,
Aye.
Leyendecker,
Nay.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That passes 5-2. All right, action item number 2.
Action item number 2 is 2026 Catherine Street Storm Sewer Project Award Public Improvement Contract.
All right.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Wethel.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Second by Russell. So we have a motion by Wethel and a second by Russell. Mr. Van Milligan.
Thank you. Assistant City Engineer Bob Schissel is recommending the public improvement contract for the 2026 Catherine Street Storm Sewer Project be awarded to Top Grade Excavating for both the base bid and alternate bid number 1 in the amount of $232,657.70. The base bid of $188,144.45 is 7.3% below estimate of probable cost. If during construction is determined in the field that the existing Catherine Street pavement held up adequately as a result of construction work and the pavement condition is acceptable, the alternate bid number 1 items could be removed from the contract scope of work. Properties along Catherine Street have experienced flooding during heavy rainfall events. This is partially a result of the underground storm sewer system on Catherine Street being undersized, minimal storm sewer intake catch basins in the street to capture and convey the stormwater, along with shallow curb and gutter along the street, which overtops with stormwater during heavy rainfall events. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or discussion from council members? Ms. Wethel.
I just wanted to say thank you to the engineering department for not only spelling this out for us and the reasons for potentially alternative bids, which when you dig into it, it's obvious that this took a lot of planning to say the what ifs, and we need to prepare for them and make sure financially we're set for them. So thanks for the thorough memo.
Thank you. Well, then we'll move on. So we have a motion by Wethel, second by Roussel. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Sprank.
Aye.
Liondecker.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That carries 7-0.
Action item number 3 is 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program Sidewalk Curb Ramp Project, Bid Package 1, Award Public Improvement Contract.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Ms. Wethel.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Sprank.
Okay, second by Sprank. So we have a motion by Wethel, second by Sprank. Mr. Van Milligan.
Thank you. Assistant City Engineer Bob Schissel is recommending City Council adopt a resolution awarding the Public Improvement Construction Contract for the 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program Sidewalk Curb Ramp Project Bid Package 1 to Valentine Construction, LLC, in the amount of $273,516.85, which is 21.42% below the estimate of probable cost. The 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program Bid Package 1 will provide for the replacement of 34 access curb ramps, adjacent street pavement work, curb and gutter replacement, sidewalks, 8 storm sewer intakes, and landscape restoration work in coordination with the Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program at the following locations: Marywood Drive from Rosewood Drive to Chrissy Drive for 12 ramps, Glenview Circle from Chrissy Drive to Chrissy Drive for 4 ramps, Kaufman Avenue from John F. Kennedy Road to Martin Drive for 10 ramps, Theta Drive from Gordon Drive to Martin Drive for 8 ramps. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or discussion, Council? All right. Well, again, we have a motion by Wethel, second by Sprank. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Sprank.
Aye.
Liondecker.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Action item number 4 is 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program Sidewalk Curb Ramp Project Bid Package 2, Award Public Improvement Contract.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Wethel.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Liondecker.
Thank you. We have a motion by Wethel, second by Liondecker. Ms. Liondecker, could we have a report from Mr. Van Milligan, please?
Thank you. Assistant City Engineer Bob Schissel is recommending City Council adopt a resolution awarding the Public Improvement Construction Contract for the 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program Sidewalk Curb Ramp Project Bid Package 2 to Midwest Concrete in the amount of $87,103, which is 1.61% below the estimate of probable cost. The 2026 Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program Bid Package 2 will provide for the replacement of 10 access curb ramps, adjacent street pavement work, curb and gutter replacement, sidewalks, and landscape restoration work in coordination with the Public Works Asphalt Overlay Program at the following location: University Avenue from Pennsylvania Avenue to Loris Boulevard for 10 ramps. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you very much. Do we have any council comments or questions? Very well. We have a motion by Wethel, second by Liondecker. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Sprank.
Aye.
Liondecker.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
That motion carries 7-0.
Action item number 5 is approve professional consultant services supplemental agreement number 2, smart traffic routing with efficient and effective traffic systems.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Ms. Roussel.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Wethel.
Okay. So motion by Roussel, second by Wethel. Mr. Van Milligan.
Thank you. Civil Engineer 2, Dave Ness, is recommending City Council authorize the city manager to execute consultant professional services supplemental agreement number 2 with Parsons Transportation Group, which approves revisions to the original contract agreement scope of services to support installation of dynamic message signs, related field implementation, and associated project budget adjustments for the Smart Traffic Routing with Efficient and Effective Traffic System, or STREETS project, subject to the concurrence of the Iowa Department of Transportation. Supplemental Agreement Number 2 also includes the following contract modifications. It adds Voltmer Incorporated to the project team to install dynamic message signs, including contingency funding, reduces unused direct expenses from the original agreement, including unused server and equipment costs, adds back $20,800 for cellular router kits and spare DMS insert modules required for field deployment, removes small unused budget amounts from Transmart and LREC as those tasks are complete and closed out, adds $6,057 to Origin Design to support construction field reviews during installation activities, adds $72,312 to Parsons' fully loaded labor budget to support ongoing signal response plan refinement, environmental coordination, and additional video analytics work associated with the longer than anticipated implementation efforts. Funds for the streets project in the amount of $3,334,302 is available through the purchase order dedicated to the streets project. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you very much. Do we have any discussion or questions from council members? Yes, Ms. Roussel, please.
Thank you. This question is for you, Mike, and I seem to be offline here, so I can't find my notes, but could you kind of remind us some of the many sources of funding that this project, we got a lot of grants for this project, correct? So I think it's important for people to remember that we have a lot of grants that are helping to provide this particular project.
Yes, thank you. So the project has 6 funding sources. The grants you referred to are the Accelerated Innovation Deployment Grant from the Federal Highway Administration for $900,098, the Iowa Clean Air Attainment Grant from the Iowa Department of Transportation for $818,250, the Iowa Primary Road Funding from the Iowa Department of Transportation for $300,000, and Traffic Safety Improvement from the Iowa Department of Transportation for $100,000, and Surface Transportation Block Grant Funding from the Dubuque Metropolitan Area Transportation Study, or DMATS, for $900,000, and then local funds from the City of Dubuque, $550,000, of which $270,000 is allocated for City of Dubuque staff time. And so that's a total of $3,660,250.
Thank you. That really makes an impact. Thank you.
For the information. Anyone else? All right.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Kavanaugh.
Yeah, I have one question. Mike, there's a line in your memo that talks about the longer than anticipated implementation effort. Could we get just a general summary of that? I think we've had it before, but I think it would be helpful to hear it again, what some of the challenges have been with this project, just because there's a lot of technology involved, I know. So I was just curious if somebody could speak to that a little bit.
Yes, Assistant City Engineer Bob Schissel is walking up to the microphone. He'll answer that question. Thank you.
Good evening. I probably don't have to introduce myself, so thank you, Mike. This is a total custom, never been done before project. It's the first time ever in the United States and probably even in the world. So everything is being designed totally by scratch. Everything is being developed from scratch. So the software, the hardware, so it's never been done before. So it has taken a little bit longer just because it's truly state-of-the-art technology that they are developing. So yeah, it has taken longer, but it was pretty hard to predict the schedule when we started, when, there was no models or anything like that that could ever been used to kind of project a timeline.
Well, thank you, Bob. So I think that's an important thing for everybody to recognize, is that this is something that's very unique, and it's been recognized by a lot of people from around the world as being unique. Do we have any are those grants that we're using for this? We're using that funding, correct? Is there anything that we need to be concerned about with grants being used in time or anything like that?
No, not that they're aware of, and all the grants that Mike shared and listed are truly indicative of the state-of-the-art project that this is, and never been done before. So, excuse me. So, that kind of reflects the uniqueness of this project with some of the very, very creative grants that we were able to get for this project. So we are not aware of any, looming deadlines or things like that could potentially impact these grants. A lot of the funding is already encumbered or obligated. Now we just have to, get the project completed. And so I hope that answered your question.
It does. Yeah, it's very helpful. Thank you, Bob. And thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, thank you. And we're not doing this just for ourselves, are we? We want this to be replicable, and it's unique, but we also want to help other people with this. And we were chosen because we've got a lot going for us, including yourself, and so many people thinking about this project. How is this project going to help traffic? How do we see it as helping ourselves, helping others in this?
I guess really, and Dave Ness wasn't able to be here, and he could speak much more intelligently than I could. Did you hear that question, Dave? Come on up. I'll let the expert, he can speak much more eloquently than I can on it.
Evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm Dave Ness, traffic engineering. I didn't hear the question, sorry.
The question really is, how is this we're going to share this a success. We're going to definitely say it's been a success. How would we share this with others, and how is this improvement going to be reflected? How we know that this is going to help, and what are we trying to do to help ourselves and others?
Right. Well, it's a first time ever, so there's a lot of learning involved and challenges, I'll be honest. And we're having to pivot quite a bit. Just our city is a little bit smaller. Things we're learning, for instance, not a lot of people use electronic like Waze as they're driving through Dubuque. That's just an app that's kind of like a crowdsource. I use that when I drive to Chicago. I don't use it when I drive in Dubuque. INREX is another one that we're trying to use these crowdsourcing pilots to learn from. We're having to collect our data more locally, and that is one of those learned processes. And one of the things we're doing is we're taking all these data sources. A large one of those data sources will be our cameras. We've paid for those, they're deployed, they're already available. We're creating more analytics every day, honestly, for traffic to take that kind of data. And one of the bigger wins will be this digital model of Dubuque. We're working with ECIA and Chandra on that model, and Aimsung. And as new technologies are going to come, and we're going to continue to improve the digital model, and then more things like streets will be using that digital model to improve traffic and other things besides traffic. It could be a number of different factors. Whatever you're collecting can go into that model. So, we're gonna show what we've learned through that process. Some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be bad. Just being honest. So, it might be through presentations or whatever it might be. I know I'm going to ISC West next week to present, but it's not necessarily on streets, but it's on using AI analytics with our camera systems and what we're learning from that. So, it's going to be a work in progress. One of the things that's really missing is how to communicate with the drivers. And that was something we kind of recognized years ago, and we're working on some SMART grants. However, that funding got pulled by the government, so that funding is not going to be available. But it's still going to be a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody. It's not just for us. How to communicate these more minute-by-minute things to the drivers. That's honestly one of the challenges that we're trying to overcome. We have things like Google Maps and Apple Maps, and we're trying to be a source of data for them, but currently they're not too interested in us. And in fact, it actually kind of becomes a little bit of an adversary because they're recommending vehicles take a certain route, which might be in conflict with us because we're actually changing the timings of the lights, trying to make certain routes better. So it's those kind of things that we're overcoming, and it's taken us a little longer than expected, but those are the challenges we're working on, and it's not all good. It's not all smooth sailing, but it is progress forward. So
Yeah, thank you. And I was interested in your AI answer because I just recently myself looking at an LLM, I guess they call them, where you could get your own like QWEN, our own AI locally. So it's local. It's going to be it could be on our own servers that we don't have to share it with everybody, and that kind of information that you can gather with all this traffic cameras and those type of things. Are you looking at keeping the information local and protected, or are you perhaps using an AI like that, or that's some of the things that keep changing?
It's shared. Yeah,
it is shared.
It is shared. I mean, first of all, it's federal money for like streets, so everything that we're building, we're trying to share and teach others, what the process was like. But speaking of like large language models, we are working with Milestone Systems. They actually have created a visual language model out of our City of Dubuque traffic cameras and videos. So they have already done that. Specific, I think we were the first in the world to do that. We're first in the country for sure. And they've got something called Project Hafnia, where they've got supercomputers that can watch these videos. It's like having a person watching the video, and it'll just create dialogue of what it sees. It's not scalable yet to all 1,500 of our cameras, but I think the ultimate goal is it's almost like you have 1,500 people. You have somebody watching each camera, and it's GDPR compliant, which is a standard out of Europe for privacy rights. We don't really have those here in America yet, but we're building it with that in mind. And so, it's creating dialogue from each camera that is viewing, and then that is linkable to the video, and then you can search for that dialogue and look. So it's like if two vehicles collided in the middle of the night, and they were both incapacitated, that'd be a good example of, the video would pick that up and see it and flag it. So, yeah, we're working on a lot of that really cutting edge, maybe bleeding edge technology with these companies.
Thank you. So much going on, and you include consideration of privacy rights with all the things you're doing. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Any other comments, Ms. Roussel?
I guess I have a simple question, just for me as a driver. How do you see my driving experience being improved by this system? I mean, am I going to get where I'm going faster? Is it,
And there's a lot of systems, streets in particular is for when things go wrong, more so. And whether a lot of times we're behind the cameras, so we're adjusting the signals. And we've got a lot of tools at our disposal while we're at the traffic center. So when we see issues, we have eyes on it and we're making the changes. What Streets is supposed to help us with is to do this when we're not there and to make some decisions. And we slowly watch it, and it recommends doing this, and then we override it and say, yep, that looks good. So it has to earn our trust that we can let it run automatically. But you're probably not going to see this huge difference. The difference will be when we're not at the office and some of these things happen. It should make it better without us there. So that's our goal. A lot of what these researchers study is how do we as engineers at the city, with all these tools at our disposal, make these changes, and how do we utilize it, whether it's for traffic or for public safety or whatever it might be. These folks that create these analytics, they're actually most interested in how we currently use the system as humans, and they're trying to replicate that. So I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah, I mean, we've been pretty spoiled all the way along because we've had these tools at our disposal, and we try to keep things moving, trying to automate that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Wethel.
I don't know that your memo gives the team credit for what you deserve. And what I mean by that is that I recall first, I think, learning the most about streets. We had a legislative visit from our federal partners, and there was a presentation at our gathering at ECIA in which we were presented, this is what it's going to look like, and this is why we're doing it. And I just was curious about that was, I think, 2 years ago. And so I'm curious about what the date is going back to when this first started to come to fruition, when we first started banding with partners. I just want folks at home to understand that this isn't just the city of Dubuque going out on a limb. This is so much background work and partnerships that have gone on for years to get where we are today.
It is, and streets is not the end all. It's a stepping stone, and streets was designed with progress in mind. You know, the goal is to have it be flexible so that when new technologies come out, we're able to utilize those. It's not a stagnant system. We started thinking about this type of system in 2018, 2017, and started really forming it together in 2019. And, you know, if streets funding wasn't there, we'd still be building something towards this goal. A lot of the things that we're doing are actually non-streets program that are actually even much more technically savvy than the streets project itself. But those analytics that we're working on with like Video and Milestone can be incorporated into that digital model that will ultimately make streets a better system too. So yeah, we've been lucky. We've had good support from everybody here and city manager and everybody at the city. So we've been able to use these tools and try to do things that nobody else has done.
Well, thank you for you and all of those involved spending years getting to this point. And
we enjoy it. It's our first love anyway. So
I'm glad you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, Mr. Sprank.
You were mentioning you're still trying to figure out how to implement it. And while I was sitting here, an idea came to my mind here, and maybe this isn't even possible. So cell phones, so many brand new vehicles require you to have your cell phone somehow connected to your vehicle, and Amber Alerts. Is there a way that you can use a similar system to the Amber Alert system that would notify folks through their cell phone? Then it would come up on their screens on their vehicles?
Maybe, depending on the emergency. And you bring up a good point. I mean, tonight's memo was about dynamic message boards, which are really, honestly, pretty boring. And unfortunately, it's a route we have to take, I'll be honest. You know, the SMART grant was trying to step over that, but we're still back to that. We still got to have things on the streets to help guide drivers. You know, one thing I help create detours and put them in place. And then, you know, the following morning I wake up and I start driving to work and I hit the detour because we're all kind of like sheep. And same thing happens to me, but when I do get in the car, my Apple phone slaps on my dash and it tells me, oh, it's going to take you 15 minutes to go to work today. And it shows the route it knows that I usually take. That's where we would love to go, is where it ultimately this driver dashboard that we thought, honestly, would exist by now. And again, it's not a Dubuque problem, it's a worldwide problem, but we're trying to be some of the innovators to create that dashboard, and that was really part of the SMART grant. that we've been building these things in the background as part of phase 1 of the SMART grant. And phase 2 was going to be the implementation, but that's the funding that got pulled. It was up to $15 million that we could apply for. But ultimately, I would love it to just be built into your guidance system. So I agree, that would work great. Yep. Maybe in time.
Anyone else? Well, thank you for your help with those answers. We have a motion by Roussel and a second by Wethel. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Sprank.
Aye.
Leyendecker.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
The motion carries 7-0.
Action item number 6 is Dubuque Fire Department Ladder Truck 4 push-in ceremony video.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Roussel.
I move to receive and file and watch the video.
Second by Leyendecker.
All right, so we have a motion by Roussel, second by Leyendecker. So let's watch the video. All right. Well, thank you. I hope I'm pushing the engine doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the motor or something. So that they do that all the time to get it in there. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. Exciting music. Any other comments about that? All right. So we have a motion by Roussel, a second by Leyendecker. Ms. Breitfelder, please call the roll.
Staver.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Sprank.
Aye.
Leyendecker.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
The motion carries 7-0.
Next are council member reports.
So council member reports, Mr. Mayor, do you mind if I ask you to let us know what you're doing and see anything else you'd like to comment on the council member reports?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have a couple of things to report. So this last couple of weeks have been involved with lots of travel for me. And I've been involved with the Iowa League of Cities, first and foremost. We went to the state legislature and had a local leaders day for the state of Iowa. And it was a great event, drew even more people this year. I was able to travel there with our new director of strategic partnerships, Anderson Stancy. And it's great to see so many local leaders in Iowa stepping forward to be able to have those great conversations in Des Moines. Also spending some time in Washington, D.C. for the National League of Cities. And once again, just a good time with lots of different colleagues from across the country, talking about all the same issues that we're talking about there. We're talking about housing. There is actually discussion about aviation, discussion about quite a few other things that have to do with what it means to be in local government. So I always appreciate this opportunity. One thing that's not related to any of that travel was, but it took a little bit of travel from my house, was I got to go to Hempstead last week and spend most of the day on Friday with the Hempstead IJAG program, the Iowa Jobs for America's Graduates. Such a great time talking to the young people who are there at Hempstead, freshmen through seniors. A lot of great questions. We had some really good discussions. So I think we've got some kids that really want to get more involved in their community and care very deeply for it. So it's great to see that. Always brings a lot of hope. So thanks, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Great. Thank you for the catch up there. Anyone else? Next. Mr. Leyendecker.
Yeah, so I finished up my orientation with the transportation department, so it was great to go down there and visit with the team there and understand all that goes on with transportation, the Jewel, and our bus system, in addition to parking. So that's exciting. And then had a Dubuque Initiatives board meeting. And then finally, I met with David Gamble, who's been working a lot on the downtown strategy. I think he's been engaged with a number of stakeholders in Dubuque, and in addition to council. So it's good to hear what he's been working on and some of his ideas, and bringing some new ideas to the table. So
Great. Thank you very much. Anyone else but Ms. Russell?
Thanks. I was able to attend the River and Roots event at the National Mississippi River Museum. And it was presented by Dubuque County Reads, and had a wide range of booths there of organizations with an environmental relationship. And Dubuque Trees Forever had a booth there. There were about 154 attendees, and it was really a great event. So thank you to the River Museum for that. And I attended a Dubuque Trees Forever board meeting to plan our many upcoming spring activities. Can't wait to get shovels in the ground.
Thank you very much. Would you mind telling us about the Dubuque Parks group that you've been?
Well, I've started a new group, and it's called Friends of Dubuque Parks. And I have a wide range of people who are interested in advocating for, fundraising for, and having activities in our Dubuque parks. So we're hoping to get more people involved, and we already have a Facebook page, and look forward to fun activities in our parks.
Yes, I got an invitation to follow that page, which I'm doing. So I'm looking forward to that. And we're thinking about volunteering for that. So thank you for doing this extra work. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Spring, please.
Since our last meeting, between two neighborhood association meetings, as well as going to a grand opening of a record store on Jackson Street. And then also I'm on the River Museum, so the Building and Grounds Committee meeting. Also on the Crescent Community Health Board. We did a nice strategic planning event for a long Saturday. And then also this weekend was also volunteering at a food giveaway. So just always something going on. And also, if there's something you kind of want to see unique play going on, is the Diary of Anne Frank. It's going to be playing this weekend at the Five Flags in the Bijou Room. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Leathell.
I was just going to mention that Mayor Pro Tem Resnick and myself attended a policy board meeting for Dubuque Metropolitan Area Solid Waste Agency. That I feel like was very productive, lots of exciting things coming through, and so much work being done by the team there in collaboration with many partners. And so exciting things to come, and very happy to get to represent City Council on that board. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I learned, Mr. Staver, I'm sorry, would you like to say? A lot going on.
Yeah, I guess I met with Keith Ray, traveled to Dubuque, and I had a really interesting conversation with him, and really excited about Dyersville and all that could potentially bring to Dubuque. Met with Mr. White down at Greater Dubuque Development, and had a really long conversation with him, and that was some cool changes coming up there. So yeah, kind of just going through the ropes here.
Thank you very much for representing wherever you go, representing the Dubuque City Council. I did learn that there was a very special March 16th event that I didn't know about till just a couple of days ago, and that is March 16th is the birthday of Michael Van Milligan, and I got a special request to lead a happy birthday. So we're all going to sing. It's going to sound beautiful. Ms. Russell brought your violin? No? Okay. So we're all going to sing if you know the words. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael C. Van Milligan. Happy birthday to you. You have to give a speech. That's the rule. Next year. Very good. Well, thank you, and happy birthday to you. So we do have a closed session, so I will take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Ms. Wethel.
I move to proceed to closed session in accordance with Chapter 21.5, 1J Code of Iowa for purchase or sale of real estate.
Second.
All right, very good. We have a motion by Wethel and a second by Roussel. For the record, the attorney, the city council will consult with on the issues to be discussed in the closed session is City Attorney Crena Brumwell. Is that correct? All right, Ms. Breitfelder, if you could call the roll.
Staver.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Sprank. Leyendecker.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. We are in closed session.